Hi Hillsdale, this is Mrs. Plum, if I haven't introduced myself before. I am the drama teacher here at Hillsdale, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this project that Honors Drama has been working on since the beginning of the year. This is what's called verbatim theater, and verbatim theater is using words that people have actually spoken and creating a play out of it. So what the students have done is they interviewed people of all different ages about their middle school experiences. Some of them interviewed their grandparents, their parents, other students, just people that they know who have gone through middle school before. And we took all of their answers and we created 4 different episodes based on whatever age group they focused on. So this episode that you're going to see right now is the grandparents group. And everything that you hear these students saying was said by one of their grandparents. So if it sounds like those words wouldn't be a middle school student, that's true, they're not. And as we watch each of these episodes, I want you to pay attention and notice all of the different things that maybe they went through in middle school that you didn't, and all the things that might be similar to your current middle school experience. So the students have worked really hard on this. We hope you enjoy, and hang in there, Huskies.
The following series of performances are based on actual interviews conducted by our honors drama students.
The interviews were recorded, transcribed, and will be spoken verbatim. What does verbatim mean exactly? Well, according to the dictionary, verbatim means in exactly the same words that were used originally.
We interviewed participants of different age groups to provide a wide variety of responses.
We hope you enjoy our performance.
Well, my most memorable moment from middle school would probably have to be when the principal came into our classroom, because we didn't have PA systems back then, so he had to come into the classroom to let us know that President Kennedy had been shot and that school was canceled for the day. And I remembered that the whole demeanor of everyone just changed. And for the next few days, everyone just felt lost.
Our first segment focuses on those who have gone before us, before technology was such a major part of our lives.
Before TV had color, or more than 4 stations. Middle schoolers were listening to the top 40s on their transistor radios.
They were listening to the Monkees, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Four Seasons, the Supremes, and Elvis.
This was a time when NASA was making the national news in the race to land on the moon.
Fears revolving the Cold War caused tensions between families everywhere.
Let's see how these baby boomers answer our questions.
Well, the hardest part was moving from in the middle of the school year from Salt Lake City to Spokane, Washington. And all the material we were learning, was different than what I had in Salt Lake. So that was hard, learning all new material and starting over again.
Probably the bus ride. I had to ride the bus from 70th and El Cajon Boulevard to 54th Street. If it was raining, my hair would always droop, and that annoyed me. So that was probably the worst part.
Jeez, I don't remember. Let's see. My greatest struggle would probably have to be, getting up in the morning and having to climb up that mountain when there was about 3 feet of snow. You take one step forward and you'd end up going back 3. Because there were 2 buildings. There was one at the top of the mountain and one at the bottom. So, I had some classes at the top, and I had civics and science and home ec, but they wouldn't let me in there. At the bottom of the hill in the new building. So that was definitely quite the struggle.
Go.
Well, most of the friendships I had were in church. I don't remember any friendships that I made from my school, and I can't think of any names of any people that I knew in school. But I do remember the friendships I had outside of school. The boy who lived behind me was probably my best friend, Danny White. Still remember his name. And then I had friends in church and in Scouts, and we were in Boy Scouts at the time.
Yes, actually. One of my best girlfriends that I met in kindergarten. And then I went to elementary, junior high, and high school together.
I did not have friends. I wasn't in a group per se. I did have probably 2 to 3 close friends who I'm still in contact with today.
Well, one of my best experience, my funnest experience was when my science teacher was ambidextrous, and he would write with both his hands at the same time on the blackboard. And he would do the pros and cons of a science experiment. Pros on one hand and cons on the other. And he would also pull out a cigarette in our class and for science experiments and say it was for scientific purposes only. And me being from Mormon church, that's a bit forbidden Mormon church, and he's smoking in our class. So it was quite the experience, but it was fun though.
Wow, I don't think there are a whole lot of favorite parts, honestly, because of the bullying. It was difficult. My favorite part of the school day was probably watching the clock until it got to 5 minutes to 3. I'd go, "It's time to go." That was my favorite part of my school day.
In those days, we had an option to take home economics and industrial arts for the boys. But I took home ec, and it was really fun because we got to sew. I remember a skirt I made, I can see it right now, the colors and everything, a little gathered skirt. We got to cook, and that was fun. So we learned how to do all those things so that when we grew up, we'd know how to do them.
Yes. If the math teacher knew that I was struggling with the problem on the board, and he would make me go up there and try to solve it, knowing I didn't know the answer. And then the PE teacher, he would make me do some kind of a game or something that he knew I didn't have the strength to do.
Well, my middle school was very old. In fact, we were the last class before it was torn down, and they had this belfry that they used to ring class. And of course I didn't use it, it was far too old. And me and my friend heard that there were bats in the belfry. So of course we decide, hey, let's go see the bats. So we climbed up the belfry and decided to ring the bell. That definitely spooked them, so they all went flying, and I ended up being bit by one of them. So since I didn't know which bat it was, because I mean there were hundreds, I had to get a bunch of rabies shots in my stomach. So that was definitely a learning experience. No belfries, bad idea.